Oh, Saturday sun. I met someone. Miraculous Ladybug, Adrienette, High School Alternate Universe Fanfiction, Chapter 7. There is a part of me who isn't ready for this. Stop worrying so much. You and I both know you were born for this. I was definitely not born for this. If anything, I'm made to be panicking. Whoever created me, and God knows above, they clearly had no brain cells and thought, oh, how can I make her as incompetent around a boy as I possibly can? Marinette snaps. Alia gives her a look that asks if she is done being dramatic just yet. Technically the answer is no, because Marinette is always dramatic, but she'll dial it back for now. You're Marinette Dupan Chang, right? The girl in question nods. So you're one of the most popular people all around school. You've managed to charm even the grumpiest of teachers at our school. You're on student council and you've led countless activities in our 3 years of high school. Correct me now if I'm wrong. Alia spoke nothing but the truth, so Marinette kept her mouth shut. So with all of that being said, you know deep down that you can handle a boy in our friend group. He's not scary. If anything, you're more terrifying. Marinette scoffs and rolls her eyes, but the little jab at her from her best friend seems to have reset her brain to calm level 0. It's hours before the actual meeting time for everyone to take pictures and then head to dinner and all of that. But Marinette's nerves just shot off like a dryland on fire. Thank goodness Alia is there to calm her down. He's a nice guy. He doesn't want any harm to come to you. Alia sighs with a little smile on her face. Okay, well, duh. Marinette knows that. Adrien probably has never wished harm on another living thing on this planet Earth. He definitely doesn't mean to make her heart rate spike when she sees him, or knock the air out of her windpipes whenever he smiles at her for even just a second. Just the other day, Marinette was showing all the other girls the dress she found for the dance, which was, by the way, so perfect. And he asked to see it. And when he did, he said it looked great. Marinette froze like an idiot and just about died, much to Alia's amusement. Of course, Marinette knows Adrien didn't mean to ice her brain out like that, but that didn't mean that all of the little nice things he did didn't still freak her out. Every time he gave her a ride and every time they'd chat about things that felt a little deeper than they needed to be, every time they'd gang up on Nina or Kim on the rare occasion and toss each other cheeky smiles, all of it combines into Marinette losing her mind in the best and worst way possible. Come on, Alia says soothingly, handing Marinette the makeup brushes. I know you relax when you work your artistic magic, so let's get started. Marinette takes in a breath and nods. It doesn't take long for Marinette and Alia to get totally all glammed up. They both look amazing, and the rest of their girlfriends totally agree. She's so excited to show off the off-the-shoulder satin pink dress that looks fit for a princess. And she honestly feels like one in the dress too, and it makes her giddy with joy. Soon they head over to the flower fields right in front of the restaurant she made reservations for. True to Marinette form, she's late, but not by much, so no one gives her too much grief, but they do tease her a little bit. But that's to be expected. A little late bug has finally come. How are you? Nino says, reaching out to ruffle her hair. Marinette, however, reacts too quickly for him and gets to even get close to her meticulous updo that Alia helped her with, and whacks his arm out of the way with a cry. The boy looks absolutely terrified for a moment and shrinks back. Marinette chuckles. Don't touch a girl's hair, she says with a sickly sweet smile, and it only serves to make Nino even more fearful. He all but hides behind Adrien, who's biting a smile. Especially before she takes photos, and especially after she spends a lot of time on it. Nino nods meekly and Marinette blows him a kiss. Nino fake catches it and throws it away from him in terror, as if it actually held germs or something. Marinette just rolls her eyes and smiles. Your hair really does look great though, by the way, Adrien says with a sweet smile. Marinette feels her face go all warm and hopes that he won't be able to see how pink it really is underneath all the powder foundation. There he goes again, being all nice and sweet and making all of her words twist and tie themselves up in her throat. A small part of her is now debating on whether or not she should wear the hairstyle more often, just because he likes it. Is that crazy? Maybe, possibly a little crazy. But Marinette really likes Adrien, and love and romance and liking makes, well, everyone a little crazy, and she really is no exception. Alright, is everybody ready for the camera? A very, very energetic man cries. He's jumping with like the camera strapped around his neck, has no chance of falling. So either he's rich enough to buy 4 more of those, or he's done this enough times to know it can survive the break. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's start with some singles, and then some couple, and then more people, and then everyone. Go, 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 go. Go have your fun, he cries out. And without another warning, he starts snapping pictures. Marinette's frozen in shock for a little bit, but soon enough grabs Alia to pose. So that she's a little more comfortable and thus looks a little less awkward. Truthfully, Marinette has no idea who this photographer is or where on earth he came from. Their original plan was just for their parents to come help with pictures, like they've done in the past years. But then Nina brought up that the boys had a person in mind, and bam, this guy. He's, interesting, to say the least. She has no idea what his name is, or what he's getting for doing these things, but, he's dancing around enough to make everyone laugh, and sprouting flamboyant encouragement to get them to smile or pose in a certain way. Marinette's sure half the photos will be of everyone looking around nervously and trying to cover up their confusion. The other half will probably be just everyone laughing like it's the time of their life. He's excited, she mutters to Adrien, and with a little smile on her face. The photographer's in the middle of getting Nino and Kim to do different poses, and so far they've settled on a tango dip. He seems to love it and keeps shouting, yes, yes, slower, and now with more motion and action. It's absolutely hilarious, and Marinette does spot Rose recording all of this on her phone out of the corner of her eye. It's nice to see someone who enjoys what they do, though, Marinette hums. I feel like all you ever hear is people hating their work. Yeah, Adrien chuckles as he looks over to Nino, who is now dipping Kim with a terribly done suave face. Vincent lives for photography. The more people around him to pose, the happier he is, he explains. Usually everyone he takes pictures of are stoic or way too pose, but we aren't, and that's why he's so much more ecstatic than usual. We're fun kids who just want to laugh, and he loves that, Adrien tells him. She's smiling at Vincent. Apparently his name is Pride. Marinette hums in agreement, but she now has a lot to think about. For one, Adrien is the reason that they have someone who seems to be an actual photographer, which is very kind of him. And 2, Adrien clearly knows said photographer very well. The question is now why and how, and who does Vincent normally take photos of? He's definitely not a senior picture taker for hire, or else she would have already heard of him. You do. Without Marinette even noticing it, Vincent found his way in front of her and Adrien, and it feels like her heart just dropped out of her chest. Her eyebrows jump up to the point where they're almost in her hairline, and there is no way the blush on her face is covered. Everyone can see it. Come on, give me energy, give me cover ready. I want to see something you can't ever forget, Vincent cries, and yeah, Marinette will never forget how panic-inducing this is. Adrien, however, seems pretty at ease in the camera, and almost instantly puts on a stock photo grin on his face. It's a little scary how real it looks, but Marinette can see that it's not real, because every time he smiles at her, he puts on what feels like his entire heart and soul into it. But still, Vincent seems to love it, and Marinette is definitely giving awkward turtle shell vibes. Yeah, Marinette, give us a looker, Alia shouts, mocking Marinette with repeats of Vincent's shouts. The look Marinette gives back to her is apparently funny enough to get 3 pictures in while everyone laughs their way to the ground. She's still not totally sure what to do, so she nervously switches her skirt and looks around at the floor. "Hey," Adrien says with a hint of amusement in his voice. She looks at him and raises an eyebrow. "Do what I do," he says in a low voice before grabbing her hand. All Marinette can hear in her head is a clamor of screams, as you do. But she has to keep quiet on the outside so Adrien doesn't realize that she's a little insane. He lowers their hands but raises his other arm in a straight line. It looks like they're partners and about to start dancing to some sweet love song. Even though she can barely process what's happening around her, she's internally screaming because his hand is in hers. She copies his pose and smiles back at him. He looks sweet and soft, and she can only hope that she doesn't look terrified. Without a warning, he pulls her in like they're doing a spin, and her little yelp is covered by all of their friends screaming like crazy people. Marinette can't help but laugh when she ends up against Adrien's chest. The vibrations from his laugh move towards her, and she wonders how long she could plausibly stay in his arms. Yes, 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 I love it! God bless Vincent for encouraging this. They continue to do poses, and for the most part, Adrien takes the lead. But 5 minutes in, Marinette puts her own little spin on the poses, and Adrien seems to be perfectly fine with that. She's taking this as a chance to grab his hands, lean against him, stare at him adorably, and fix his bow tie even. She can see Ollie is smirking at her from her peripheral vision. "Magnificent," Vincent says as they near the time of their reservation. Marinette pulls away from Adrien, giggling and a little dazed, and thinks, yeah, this is magnificent. Marinette will never forget homecoming night because, one, it was so fun with all of her friends, and they got to be crazy and dance and do whatever they wanted to without fear of looking like idiots because, there was enough of them that it really didn't matter. And then 2, she has all of these amazing pictures to commemorate the night with. Vincent had just sent out the edited photos, and Marinette and the gang had taken their brunch time to go through all of them. "Why do they look more like a couple than me and Ivan?" Milen laughs, pointing to one of the many, many photos of Kim and Nino. Kim frowns at him. "Have you ever seen 2 people more in love than me and Nino?" he says in a pointed tone. Milen covers her giggles but shakes her head, pleasing Kim greatly. "Good. I don't ever want to hear you come for me or my true love again." Kim clings onto Nino in his shirt, and promptly he's shoved off. "You're stretching it with love." Alia laughs next to Marinette. Shaking her head, Marinette just smiles, thinking of all the silly things that happened that night. But then she feels a tap, and a sly smirk on Alia's face, and Marinette knows that this can't be anything good. "Well, I've seen 2 people more in love than anyone else on this planet," Alia says in a low voice and hands Marinette her phone. It's a collection of pictures and photos, more specifically, the photos of just Adrien and Marinette. The first couple seem nervous and awkward, but later they look comfortable and joyful. Marinette almost laughs out loud at her own expression when Adrien grabbed her hand that first time. Even now she remembers the feeling and kind of misses it. But the rest? When they're spinning around and she made him learn a dance in 2 minutes, they were looking at each other with equal adoration. When she looks off to the side to make a face at Alia, he's still looking at her with a soft smile. It warms her heart, and she sneaks a peek at him from across the table. She smiles and flips to the next picture, and it makes her heart soar. Maybe he doesn't actually like her back, but the way that he's looking at her in this picture, the one with her eyes closed and waving her arms around in a frenzy, he looks at her with what she would call love.